Today I'm going to tell you about how Notre Dame is just as soft as UCF, and this is a travesty. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folks? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today I'm going to tell you why Notre Dame being in the college football playoff is a travesty. Now, we know what the committee won't say out loud until next weekend, which is Notre Dame is in the college football playoff, probably as a number 3 seed. They went undefeated throughout their year, and that is why. They played a power conference schedule, okay? Yet, Notre Dame has some bad wins, if there is such a thing. I mean, haggling about how many you won by, I hate that we have to have that argument because we do in college football, just as we have to haggle about how many you lost by. Speaking of which, Ohio State, the loss is to Purdue. Purdue by 29. That's 4 touchdowns and an extra point. That loss is like the scene with Theon Greyjoy and the puppy in John Wick. You cannot unsee it, and it is here forever. Stop giving up bad L's, because that's where we live in college football today. Bad L's and good W's, right? Because that's what Notre Dame is doing right now. That Pitt team should have beat them in South Bend. USC seem to have Notre Dame dead to rights, and we can make this argument all throughout and look at their schedule, and you can see ranked teams on it, and you can see Power 5 teams on it. But I hate it because you look at Notre Dame and you see UCF. You see UCF with more prestige. You see UCF with a power conference schedule. You see UCF that benefits from a movie about a dude that lined up offsides. Yes, I'm talking about Rudy. And while it's a cool story, it also is the reason that they're in this playoff, because they shouldn't be ranked this highly. I mean, I have more of a problem with the LSU argument at number 7 going into the week. Thank you, A&M, for taking them off. Also, who cares about ampersand U at this point? But the real thing about Notre Dame is they don't have to play in a division, and they don't have to play for a conference championship, which makes them like Alabama last year, and it's why Notre Dame is in a good position to win a national championship. Because I still contend that Alabama was not the best team in the college football playoff last year. And the matchup was Oklahoma versus Alabama, and probably win if you get past Georgia. However, Alabama didn't win its division. And because Alabama didn't win its division in 2017, they didn't play for a conference title, which means they didn't have to play an extra game. And anybody who's played football can tell you playing an extra game is miles, is years off your life. You cannot account for the exertion, the exhaustion, the fatigue, the mental preparation, the headspace for which you have to be in to win a conference championship. It's why we think that conference championships should mean more in college football, particularly in the college football playoff, because not just everybody could win one. That's what we saw last year. It's why everybody who was not in the SEC had a problem with Alabama getting into the semifinal in the first place. And yet and still, I think that extra game helped them tremendously, especially when you get into a dogfight with Georgia and you're rested so you could go and beat up on Clemson. Now, I know there's weeks in between, but again, a game is a game. And if you don't make a team play a game, they ain't going to play the game. That's what I'm getting at here. So Notre Dame is going to be sitting pretty with likely Alabama, Clemson themselves, and we'll see of the 3 teams that are up for the last playoff spot in Georgia, Ohio State, and Oklahoma, who gets in. But those 3 teams will still have had to play an extra game, and that's one of the reasons why I just want to scrap this 14 playoff and go straight to 16. Do not go to 6, do not go to 8, go straight to 16. Everybody that should get in, gets in. No more of these soft undefeated teams yammering about, hey, we beat everybody on our schedule. Well, man, if you want to schedule nobodies, then sure, okay, we could all do that. That's why power of conference schedules matter. And particularly with Notre Dame, where they get to keep this independence thing and pretend as if, you know, they do the same amount of work as everybody else to get into the playoff, and that the money is the same is wrong. And that's the real reason for which I don't think they should be able to get in, because they don't have to play by the same rules. And if you don't play by the same rules, why should you be admitted into a format where everybody else does? But we all know what we know, which is that UCF and Notre Dame would be a really good game because they're evenly matched. But Notre Dame getting into the college football playoff is a travesty, and they'll be there, and perhaps it'll be a lopsided game with them and Clemson, and that'll be just what everybody said. But we saw this before in 2012 when Notre Dame played Alabama and got skull dragged. And I, for one, would like two semifinals that are competitive and good, and apparently that is not what the College Football Playoff Selection Committee has in mind. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.